Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Julie Kaczor of Baird Warner, based out of Naperville, Illinois. Julie has been in real estate for over 22 years as a full-time real estate professional. Her awards and recognitions include the following: Top Producer Naperville Office 2007 to 2015 in both units and sales, Founders Club, their highest level, Top 1% Units and Sales company-wide, Chicago Agent Magazine 2015 Top Producer, Real Estate Executive 100 Most Influential Real Estate Agents in Illinois, and Real Trends Top Agent. All right, with all that said, Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Keith.
And Julie, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
You know, I knew I always wanted to be in some sort of sales. Prior to being in real estate, I was a flight attendant. So I worked crazy hours, weekends, nights. And literally I was on maternity leave, and I was walking at the grocery store and saw a sign that said real estate classes. And I knew right then and there that's exactly what I was going to do. I knew on the spot that that's what I was going to sell real estate.
And do you think you could talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Sure. I am also a real estate coach, so I really find that an inner competitive spirit is very important. A strong work ethic is extremely important as an independent contractor. You have to treat your job as if you were an employee, not independent, in order to be successful. Also, extreme skills in time management, setting, regular goals and staying within the time frame to work on those things. Monitoring your time, again, and working on money-making activities and being able to decipher what is a money-making activity, because there is a lot of paper shuffling and a lot of wasted time in real estate.
Yeah, I like that you pointed that out. I try to live by the old 80-20 rule, where you focus on that, the core of what actually is going to bring revenue into your business and for your, career and stuff.
Yeah. And one last thing on that is also being physically fit and mentally fit to bounce back from a lot of setback situations. There's many, many real estate agents, and you get a lot of rejection, and you just really have to be able to bounce back.
But you mean I watch these shows on TV where they sell a house in 30 minutes. I mean, it's not that easy?
It is not that easy.
And Julie, do you think you may give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path toward success?
Sure. The competitive part, well, let me go back. Originally when I started in real estate, the managing broker told me that the average agent made X amount of money. I think at that point it was over $70,000. And I just thought to myself at that point, well, if anything, I can definitely be average. And that really got my attention. So, having a competitive spirit, one of the traits, is just trying to go for the win and assuming that the sellers are going to choose me. And my mental preparedness is a must. I have to be always assuming that they're going to work with me. And if I don't get the listing or the job, then I just move on and I say to myself, next. I never dwell on that. I never dwell on the rejection. I just pretend like it didn't happen. That's the competitive spirit. The regular work hours, after a while it becomes a habit. I typically have the same structure during the Monday through Friday work week. It's kind of like a morning routine at home with your coffee and brushing your teeth. I have the same thing I do over and over and over and over again. As far as the money-making activities, again, what can I get signed today? What new listing can I get? Is there a contract out there, a price reduction, a rental? Is there a lead? Those are money-making activities instead of going on tour, getting free lunch, hanging out in the office, and really basically doing nothing. So monitoring the hours are huge. Starting every day at zero is a very big trait also.
And Julie, I think that whenever somebody builds a successful career in a business, that sometimes the road to get there is filled with a lot of bumps along the way. Can you talk a little bit about some of the adversities and trials you've had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of growth. Basically, you're dealing with people that don't have a high regard for the masses of real estate agents. You know, like any industry, there's good agents and there's bad agents. So a lot of rejection, how to overcome that, how to overcome people that are just downright, not nice. Also giving up personal time. I gave up a lot of time with my children and my husband when I was new in the business. Working to be successful was around the clock, anytime, anywhere, any place. So working long hours and weekends and many stressful days, just juggling your schedule with the buyers, the listing appointments, the office work, etc. So I would say that the mental state of how you bounce back from rejection or working for 3 months with a listing and then they don't extend with you and you don't get paid, it's working for less than free. You actually lose money. Overcoming that. You have to really be able to overcome that and want to make it work.
And Julie, as these obstacles come up for you, what kept you going despite the obstacles? Why didn't you give up what you're driving force?
Well, it's a really good question. It goes back to competitive. I wanted to win at this. I saw what people were doing monetary-wise, and I thought, I can do this. I just need a system to get there. Backtracking also, I was a single mother, and I had small children when I started in the business, and I was thinking about college and how I was going to do that. So I was very focused on that. But the business part of it, the monetary goals, obviously a winning kind of attitude, definitely came into play. And, I like to win. I like to play and I like to win. So when the goals are set and followed and you're able to make a really, really good living, it becomes a lot more fun. So the hard work then pays off.
And Julie, looking forward, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
Well, I've been selling real estate full-time at a really high level for 22 years. I'll probably start cutting back in 2018. I'm having a record year this year, and next year I'll stay strong. In 2018, probably want to start cutting back, working 3 days a week and still having an income goal of a high dollar amount, but I think I can do it.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way you market yourself as a real estate professional?
I'm a bit old school, so I spend a lot of time talking on the phone to a lot of people. I don't spend a ton on print advertising anymore for obvious reasons. Obviously, the web presence, a center of influence, a farm maybe that you're concentrating more on. If I'm going to do a mailer, I do just sold cards because I think the word sold has a lot more meaning than anything. People want to get their homes sold, not listed. So just sold cards are great, and staying in touch with people you've already done business with. They know you, they like you, they trust you, and then you can piggyback on that. So if you have a successful part of your sphere or center of influence, whatever you call it, you can go back to them and say, a lot of my clients are working on an investment portfolio. And you can open up different avenues of real estate to people you've done business with. And I will tell you that a lot of my clients were like, wow, I never knew that, or I'm so glad I'm doing that. I have one investment client who's bought 7 properties from me this year alone. He's building a complete portfolio. So that's just a really cool way to piggyback on the residential side.
And Julie, I think sometimes when the general public looks at real estate agents, they don't fully understand the value that they provide from both a buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
Aside from everything, I think people don't understand that this is just not a dream or glamorous type of job. And I know it's different in each market, but, we're in the Chicago area, so let's say the mainstream market, maybe not going to the highest end or the lowest end. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of fighting for a paycheck. So you also may not get paid after months and months of hard work. The misconception of, hey, these people should be available 24/7, and are their expectations, not realistic? The idea of somebody coming to you and saying, well, you listed our home for this amount, but we want you to cut your commission the day before closing. Has anybody ever come to them and said, how would you like some money taken out of your paycheck on Friday? And I think those misconceptions they're very, very hard to deal with. We're obviously trying to please our clients. I don't think a lot of people know the amount of time it takes to prepare properly for a client, to know the market. The market's changing every day, so what happened last week, you've got to redo it again for a client this week, to advise them on their biggest asset, to stay enthusiastic and energized for months and months while never getting paid during that time, to keep them updated, and just, not feeling the value or appreciated probably as we should. And that's not everybody, but I think that's a general conception. We get paid too much and don't do enough.
Excellent. And Julie, let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. Now, obviously, with your experience and probably with your connections, you could easily look up another agent and do a referral, but from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
I am a big believer on full-service, full-time agents. I think it would just go to say with any industry, if you went to, a dentist, but he was a part-time plumber, that just probably wouldn't be in your best interest. So I'm really big on full-time agents and full-service companies. Full-service companies allow that broker to have proper training and proper support if they don't know an answer or they don't understand or there is a contract, that they have a resource besides just themselves. So a full-service company, it would be helpful to know if the agent has sold any homes in the past 12 months or how many sales. References are very important. And I really believe the single biggest thing is to pick up the phone, call their managing broker, and call references.
Excellent. And Julie, obviously you're based out of Naperville, the general western suburbs of Chicago. And if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Well, first of all, they can Google me, Julie Kaczor. It's Kaczor, and I'm with Baird Warner Real Estate, and Baird Warner is one of the largest brokerages in the state of Illinois, and we're the oldest broker in the state of Illinois. We were right after this great Chicago fire.
Excellent. Well, Julie, obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Julie, you can go to her site. Like she said, also below this interview, we'll have a link to her site and any other contact information we have so you can see how she can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.